gets the bailout booty and who gets the coal in their stocking? Joining me now to help Santa make out his list, Brian Wesbury, who I know enjoyed my little poem, chief economist with First Trust Advice. You loved it, right? Kirsten Powers.
I can't compete.
Well, there you go. You'll get a chance in a second, along with Kirsten Powers, Daily Beast columnist and a Fox News contributor. And we have Dan Mitchell, of course, senior fellow at the Cato Institute. I know he's not going to be a Grinch, right?
Jingle bells, Santa's bailout smell.
Well done. That was impromptu. I love it. Fantastic. Good job. All right, let's go down the list, though, because, I mean, we had to kind of joke this up, frankly, because it's so depressing. We're watching the government today. The reason why we're talking about all this is because the government is beginning to get out of a lot of its final set of shares of GM. And, you know, if they sell out over the next 16, 18 months and the price manages to stay where it is, taxpayers are still going to be about $7 billion in the whole thing. But, you know, the government will call it, you know, a victory and look forward to our next bailout, which could be the FHA. Brian Wesbury, what do you think? Let's look at our list. Who would you like to bail out? How do you feel about the FHA?
Yeah, if I look at your list, your full list, Melissa, it's the post office that's the next on the list. But eventually, you know, one of the things that's happened in the economy over the last few years is that the only people making long-term fixed-rate mortgages at such low interest rates is the government.
Yeah.
And I believe we're going to have the S&L industry all over again. The taxpayers are going to be on the hook for billions, hundreds of billions of dollars of losses because you won't be able to fund 3.25%, 3.5%, 3.75% 30-year fixed-rate mortgages when interest rates and inflation are a lot higher than that.
So wait, so I'm unclear. Who are you voting for here? Are you voting for anyone on our list? And for our audience, we're talking about the FHA. Which an independent audit last month said it was facing $16 billion of a deficit. The post office, we love to talk about them. They're always in trouble. $16 billion net loss for 2012. We have FEMA. They say they've only got $850 million in the bank. That's not going to last very long. And then there is the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corp. They back everyone's pension out there. They have a $34 billion deficit over the past year, and you're talking about 40 million people whose pensions are. So these are our top 4 contenders right now.
They'll all get bailed out, Melissa. This is Christmas after all.
Oh goodness.
And they all will, and that's why our government budget is so big. It's out of control, and it's because these agencies really can't do what they're charged with doing without creating massive losses. We keep promising and promising and promising more and more things to more and more people, and that always costs more money.
Kirsten, what do you think? Who do you think needs a bailout in this group?
Well, I don't really see these as bailouts. I see them as the government overspending, and now it has to be paid for. So once the government spends the money, there's no way around it. They have to pay the bill. So the problem is they shouldn't have been spending the money in the first place. If you don't have the money, you shouldn't be spending it. If you want to look at the post office, if they can't provide the service, then they need to cut jobs. They need to raise however much they're charging for the mail, but they can't just spend money they don't have. And Melissa, this is the problem with our government.
You could shut them down as the other option. I mean, if it were as a business,
But instead, you know, they just spend this money that they don't have, you know, and it's not, and something has to be done where, you know, I don't know, if Congress can pass something where you just can't spend money that you don't have.
Yeah. No, I mean,
it seems kind of obvious.
We could make, Dan, what do you think about that? I mean, maybe we could make that a rule. You can't spend money you don't have. I mean, Washington would be a ghost town overnight because that's all anybody who's there right now knows how to do.
And it means, of course, that all of us taxpayers get a lump of coal in our stockings. I want to add another bad bit of news to your list there. Let's not forget state and local pension systems. For the exact same reason that the Pension Benefit Guaranty Corporation is going to get a big bailout at some point, I fear that we're going to start bailing out the bankrupt pension systems of California, Illinois, and some of the other states that are, in effect, copying the Greek-French model of economic governance. So it's bad news across the board. But it's definitely bad policy as well, because when you reward bad behavior, anybody who has kids knows, what do you get in the future?
They just do more of it.
Bad behavior.
But how should we really deal with this? I mean, from a serious perspective, because I'm not in favor of bailing out these agencies. I mean, the post office, for example, let it go bankrupt, let part of its services go private. I mean, somebody could come in, that should be like a private equity turnaround where you could just, you know, cut costs like crazy, close down offices, salvage the good businesses, run it for profit, or shut it down entirely. The only one that's kind of interesting to me is FEMA, because they are sort of a first line of defense. Maybe there's a way to get their budget under control where maybe they're small. I mean, they serve a purpose. I don't know that we just, I hate bailouts, but they at least serve a purpose. They just spend wildly.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like the Grinch, but I think FEMA is not a first responder. It's basically a subsidy provider after the fact. And it encourages, look what's happening in New York and New Jersey. The politicians are just using it as an excuse to get as much money as they can. The politicians in Washington are turning it into a Christmas tree of pork barrel spending. So all these things should get no money.
You say forget it. Brian, what do you say?
Yeah, well, I would agree with that. You know, the FEMA budget was $3 billion in the year 2000. This year, it'll be over $13 billion. At its peak, it was 21 after Katrina. It has become a slush fund for local and state governments and a way for the federal government to redistribute monies to areas that are hit, but in politically favored ways.
Kirsten, you want to save anyone's Christmas on this list, or we're throwing them all into the fire?
Well, like I said, I don't see them as bailouts. I see it as money spent that the government has to honor. They can't just not pay debts that have been incurred in their name. You know, so once the money has been spent, it's just like the debt ceiling. People say don't raise the debt ceiling. It's like, sorry, the money's already been spent.
So would you bail them out and shut them down then because they're not able to?
I think something has to be restructured and set up in a way that they can't spend money that they don't have. And I do agree with on the FEMA issue. Look, you know, it's an incentive in a lot of ways. I think for people to not get whatever insurance they need to have. I mean, it's not the government's job to buy you a new house because you put it in a place where there was a hurricane or whatever and you didn't get insurance. You know, so I think that there needs to be you know, some sort of revamping.
Okay, we got to go. I love this panel full of wise Scrooges. Thanks for joining us.